What's up, everybody? My name is Shannon, and I am still waiting for my Satyr, and Phase 1 of the High Republic is coming to an end, which means it is time to wrap up Wave 3. So, for Wave 3, for the initial release, we did get The Fallen Star by Claudia Gray, which is the adult novel. We got Mission to Disaster by Justina Ireland, which is the junior novel. And we are also on issue 13 of the High Republic comic by Cavan Scott. Now, along with that, we also got the first issue of Eye of the Storm, which is all about our favorite bad boy, Marchion Ro, which is by Charles Soule. And we are also on issue 3 of Trail of Shadows by Daniel Jose Older, which is a mini-series investigating what happened at the end of the Great Disaster. That is a lot. Looking at this now, I think I might want to make videos specifically for the comics. Maybe not like issue by issue, but kind of going more in depth like we have with High Republic. It's separated into different chapters, like different sections of it. I think a video breakdown of each of those sections might be needed because, to be perfectly honest, the meat of everything that is happening with the High Republic right now is happening in these 3 comic book runs, more so than what we see in our 2 new books. With the High Republic comic, we have been following Keeve Trennis, we've been following Avar Kriss. They have been investigating the Drengir. Now they're investigating who they think the Eye of the Nile is, which is Lorna D. They've had a run-in with the Leveler. Tarek and Sarah are currently like under the influence. Are they going to survive? We don't know. But we also have Keeve Trennis, who at that moment was the first ever individual to survive an attack by the Leveler. Going into The Fallen Star, I was like, how are they gonna spin this? Because a lot has really been happening. Now, I have heard from friends who had not been reading the comic that it translates fine, like they were still able to keep up with everything going on with the Leveler. But there's a lot of info with that going on with the High Republic right now. And in issue 13, we see Avar Kriss leave Starlight Beacon, which is where she's stationed. She is the Marshal of Starlight Beacon. She's not supposed to go. She goes against Selen Gios's orders to go and track down Lorna D. And with her is Keeve Trennis. You also find out in Mission to Disaster that Vernestra Ro is also asked to accompany her on this mission, which is just good to know where all of our players are. And in this 13th issue, we see her have this confrontation with Lorna, and Avar is going through it. I've been speculating with my co-host on Lipstick and Lightsabers, who's going to fall to the dark side, and it's really looking like Avar Kriss is poised to fall. Going into Fallen Star, I was really expecting to see more of her since she is the Marshal of Starlight Beacon, but you don't get to learn anything about her really at all. She really only has about 2 sections, and in that book, she's returning from her conflict with Lorna D, so I can see where, the comics haven't caught quite back up, so they don't want to go too in depth into it, but you just lose so much from her side of the story because she has such a different perspective. And I think seeing her side of things on Starlight Beacon as it's crashing would have added so much more to the story. As I mentioned, Starlight Beacon is crashing. It is coming to an end. The star is falling because in The Fallen Star, we have the Nile sneak on and basically coordinate everything so that all the systems crash, everything is going wrong, but it happens so subtly that there's nothing to be done until it's already happening. All of these Jedi are trapped on Starlight Beacon. There's refugees trapped on Starlight Beacon, and the story is mostly told from Selen Gios, Bell, and Elzar Mann's perspective. It's a little bit confusing. I wish that there were more character moments in that, because largely the takeaway from that book is that Starlight Beacon has fallen, so this is a huge victory for the Nile. Lots of people die. Orla dies. We have Indira, who might die. She's in a coma right now. Buriyaga's master dies. Buriyaga is probably dead. I think he's dead. I have some friends who think that he might be alive. And then the big one, Selen Gios dies in this book. However, I don't think Selen is dead, and I do talk about that on Lipstick and Lightsabers. I swear to God, if Selen is actually dead, my entire attitude about this book just completely changes. So this is a really dark time for the Jedi. Like, we have Avar, dealing with these frustrations, dealing with, everything that's going on with her. We have Elzar, who is now struggling, we know, with the dark side, but is recovering from that. And now his actions have resulted in the death of his best friend in, the pole star of the Jedi, and the Nile are winning. We do learn in The Fallen Star that Marchion Ro is pretty crazy. Like, we thought Lorna D was like actually secretly like the big bad and like Marchiem was going to be kind of a soft boy. Not looking like it. It is looking like he is pretty evil, and he has kind of gotten to the point where he doesn't trust any other sentient being with his plans. And that ties into the comic series that he's getting. It's just a short run about his history and his backstory. And it is really cool so far. So far, we've only really learned about the planet that he's from. We learned a little bit more about his father. I'm loving where that series is going, and I'm really excited to see more. So as I mentioned with the Leveler, that is this like being that is controlled by the Nile that attacks Loden Greatstorm at the end of the Rising Storm, calcifies him, turns him into dust. You're learning through the High Republic comics that this is something that basically just instills this great fear in you, and you kind of die of fright. It's almost like a Dementor type of thing. We don't really know what it is or what it looks like, but it is a living being. And in Trail of Shadows, we have two detectives. One is a Jedi, one is just like an actual detective, trying to figure out what this thing is. And the cool thing about it is that it's very like old school murder mystery thriller. I really like the style of it. But once again, I was wondering like, how is that going to play in? Because we are getting more information there, and Stellan is leading that charge. Like, surely, you know, he's not getting all the information immediately. He's not part of the team. But going into the Fallen Star, I wanted to know, okay, like, what is the timeline here? Because Stellan doesn't really seem to have all the information about this thing that we are starting to learn in Trail of Shadows. And lastly, with Mission to Disaster, this one by far has been my favorite of everything we've gotten with Wave 3 so far, because it's a return to Vernestra and Imri and Avon. It really feels like Vernestra and Imri have had a 3-book arc with a Test of Courage and then Out of the Shadows, and now with a Mission to Disaster. In this, Avon is captured, she is taken to the Nile, and Vernestra and Imri like have to go and they have to break her out. And the big takeaway from this is that Avon sees that there's something up with her mother, like something weird is happening there, and it is confirmed in the Fallen Star that her mother, Giara Staros, is working with the Nile. She has a very interesting relationship with Marchiem Ro. But my thing is that it feels a little bit out of left field. I read Fallen Star first and I was like, okay, wait, what? Like, since when? So I went and I read Mission to Disaster. I'm like, okay, like surely this is gonna fill in some gaps. It's supposed to take place beforehand. And it doesn't really, it just kind of hints at it. So it still feels like there's information missing. I feel like a lot of this missing information is still coming from the fact that the High Republic series is not over yet. Like, when I looked it up, it looks like there's going to be 15 issues, and I don't know if after that it's going to like transition from Kraven Scott to somebody else, if they're going to be doing another thing. I'm not sure, but right now it looks like there's going to be 15 issues, so there's still 2 more left. I'm guessing that's going to lead all the way up to the events of the Fallen Star, so it's going to kind of wrap up phase 1 for sure. But I feel like, you know, there's some missing pieces that I'm guessing we're gonna see in that. And we still haven't gotten our young adult novel yet. That'll be coming out February 1st. But I'm not sure how many gaps it's gonna fill in. I'm not sure exactly where it takes place on the timeline. But going back to Wreath and Comac is going to be very interesting. And this book is by Daniel Jose Older, so I know it's going to tie in some stuff with the adventure comics, which I still haven't quite read yet, but even now I'm like, wait, do I need those? I need more information. So as it stands right now, I think phase 1 of the High Republic did a really good job of introducing this golden age of the Jedi and slowly watching it like be consumed by fear. Going into phase 2, it seems like it is going to be a little bit darker, but I've heard that it's going to take place 150 years in the past. Now, is it all going to be like that? Is 150 years just from Phantom Menace, so it's actually, you know, moving forward from High Republic, or is it back from High Republic? Like, there's still a lot that we don't know yet, but it is coming in October, so I am really excited. Right now, publishing is still really doing it for me. I really like what they've been doing with the books. I just really want to get more Vernestra, and I really hope Stellan isn't actually dead. If he is, I mean, it makes sense, but like, I will still be very upset because Stellan deserved so much better, and I want to see Avar go fully dark side. I want to see it happen, and I think we just might. So that is going to do it for this wrap up of Wave 3. I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments down below, and if you are reading everything, I would also really love to know what has been your favorite part so far. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button down below, and don't forget to subscribe to Talk Books with me every week. That is everything I got for today, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!